If you're looking to make your own fabric labels and you don't know where to start, then keep watching because I'm about to show you how you can create your own custom sized template using Canva, just like this one right here. I'm keeping it basic and I'll take you step by step through the process. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create your own template that's ready for printing and ironing onto your fabric. Hi, I'm Lou. I make handbags, jewellery and accessories. And just like you, I wanted to make my own fabric labels at home. And I watched many tutorials myself, but I couldn't find the detail that I was looking for. So I went away, figured that out for myself. Now I'm sharing all of that information with you so that you can use your precious time to do the thing that you really like to do, which is sewing. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. First things first, what we need to do is just determine what size you want your finished label to be. So I like to just cut down just a few pieces of paper or card and have sort of give myself a rough idea of what that final size label will be. And just grab a piece of fabric or something that you've made and then just position that on there and see which one works best for you. Now, these are all obviously rectangular. You might be making your label more squared. You can customize your label to be whatever size you want that to be. So it could be squared or rectangular. That's absolutely fine. And just play around with those different sizes. I actually decided that I like this one, which was 2 inches wide, 3/4 of an inch high. One thing you do need to be mindful of is there is a minimum measurement size in Canva. It is 40 pixels. I don't expect you to know what pixels converts to for millimeters, centimeters or inches, so I will pop that up on the screen now for you to see. Just make sure that whatever size label you're making, that either the width or the height is above that size. Okay, so now we've decided what measurement we're using. Let's jump over to Canva and start designing our label. Once you've opened up Canva, click on the plus sign, create, and select custom size. From here, we'll change our units. I'm going to change that to inches. If you're using millimeters or centimeters, then just select the unit that you wish to work with. I can't imagine you'll work with pixels. Not sure that anybody would, but I'm going to use inches for this single-sided label. Now, this is probably a good time for me to mention that if you're using a number that's not a whole number, you need to consider your decimal places. Now, for centimetres, that's really straightforward, but for inches, that can be a little bit more challenging. So let's say you've used a measurement size that's 1 3/8 of an inch. Unless you're great at doing your fraction to decimal conversions, then I would just hop over to Google and type something like this in the search bar and enter this number into Canva. Right, that's enough talk about fractions and decimals. Let's get back to our label. And the width is 2 inches and the height is 3/4 of an inch. So that is 0.75. Create new design. Now I've got rulers and margins set up on my Canva. If you don't have that, then I would suggest that you add that in. To do that, just go to File, Settings, Rulers and Guides, and it will add the ruler along the top and down the side. And for the margin, again, File, Settings, Show Margins. Now I'm going to keep the margin on for the single-sided label. I think that it helps. It gives yourself a guide for where you want to stitch around your label, and I would keep my text within the margin. Okay, so now we're going to start designing the label. So if you've got your own logo that you have created, then you would just need to upload that, drag that files onto the page. Just give you a very quick example of what I mean. So if you've got a pre-designed logo, then you should have that in your uploads, and you can just drag that logo into your page and then position that to where you want that to be. So just click on the circles in the corner and then drag that out to the size that you want that to be. Move it into the center and when the pink lines cross over, then you'll know that that's centre aligned. And that's a very simple way of adding your logo to your label. Now, I've got another video on how to design your own logo in Canva. So if you want to see how that's done, then I will add a link at the end of this video and you can check that one out. You can also visit my playlist for other Canva tutorials. But for this tutorial, we are going to be using text. So I'm going to delete this logo and add text onto my label. To add text to your label, just click on the text icon and select add a heading. From here you can change the text. So click inside the box and type your text. I'm going to type my brand, for example. And then there's lots of different font styles that you can use. I quite like this one here, Anton. It's a nice, narrow and bold font style. So I'm just going to bring that into the middle and then expand my text just by clicking on the circle in the corner and then dragging that out. We'll move that back to the center and then do that again. I just want to fill that as much as possible. Now, you don't need to do that. This is just the way that I've chosen to do this. But if you wanted to have just a small text in the middle, then just choose the font style that you prefer, and then you can adjust your size. You can either do that by clicking on this circle here in the corner, or you can also adjust your size up the top here using the plus and minus symbols. You could also change the colour. You don't necessarily have to have it in black and white. There's all different colour choices as well that you might want to use. I'm going to leave mine black, and I'm also going to add some text underneath. Again, you don't need to do this, just an example. And just to bring it into the center, just click on the text box and then you can just move that with your mouse and you can see the pink lines that are crossing over. That means that is center aligned. And I'll do the same for my text at the bottom here, making sure that the center line appears, which it does. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to actually group those two together so they don't move around. So you can do that by selecting position and go to layers, select both texts and group. So I'm quite comfortable with my label there. So just to make sure that doesn't move around, I'm actually going to click on that grouped image and then I'm going to hit the padlock and that will lock that into position. Now you can go ahead and download that as a PNG file and we will re-upload into Canva. So to print multiple labels onto one A4 size, we need to go back to create a design. We're going to create a custom size page, which is roughly an A4 size. So to do this, you'll just need to change your units to inches and change the width to 8 and the height to 11.5. Now, if you designed your label in a different unit, so if you haven't done that in inches, so you've done that in centimetres or millimetres, type these numbers in using the inches as your units and then just select the unit that you used previously and Canva will automatically convert these numbers into millimetres or centimetres. I will leave that as 8 by 11.5, create new design. I'm going to change the colour of my page to grey. I'm going to move my label that I've now uploaded into Canva. I'm going to move that onto my new A4 page. Now obviously that's much bigger than we want that to be, so we need to click on this circle and just drag that down to the original size that we created. It was 2 inches wide by 0.75. You might struggle to get the 0.75 using the mouse, so once you've got it as close as you can, go to position and then just change it manually, just override the numbers. So we want that as 2 and then 0.75. Now you're back to the original size that you designed. So drag that up into the top left-hand corner, and we're basically going to fill the page as much as we can with that label. And the grey background is a guide for where you need to cut away the fabric, so you're left with just your label. So let's duplicate the label, place that next to. So I can only fit 3 along that row, so I'm going to select all 3 of those. So go to position, layers, and select all 3, and I'm going to group those together, and then I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to keep duplicating that down the page now, giving myself just a little gap in between, so I've got a grey space for where I will trim away the grey, so I'm just left with the label. It's going to ungroup that top row, and I'm just going to duplicate one of those labels, and I'm going to pop that into this space here. And I'm going to duplicate that and move it underneath until I've got as many as I can on the page. And now I'm going to go to position. I'm going to select all of those labels, and I'm going to group that together. And now I can just move that into the center of my page, and that is essentially your A4 page of labels. And if you're wondering why I didn't just turn them on their side and place them on the page like this, you can do that as well. It's just I can actually get more on my page when I do it this way. So it's up to you. You can either have it looking all nice and neat and tidy and uniform, but you might get more if you move your labels around. So I could actually get 40 on this A4 page and 41 on this page, but it's up to you. But that's why I did it this way, so I could get the most out of my transfer paper. So from here you can just go ahead now and download your file for printing. So click on share, download, change your file type to PDF print, select your page and download. And once your PDF file has been downloaded, you can then go ahead and send that to your printer for printing. Now, this is where you probably want to do just a test run first, just to print that onto some plain paper, just to make sure that all looks good. Follow the instructions for your transfer paper. If you need to mirror your image, then this is where you would do that from your printer settings. So you could just go into your printer settings and then change the image to mirrored, and then that will give you the correct result for your transfer paper. But if you don't need to mirror, then obviously don't do that. But check the instructions on your transfer paper to see what you need to do. Then also I like to change the quality from standard to high, so I get a really nice finish when I print that onto my transfer paper. Once that's been printed, you can go ahead and iron that directly onto your fabric and cut away the grey background, leaving you your custom size label. I hope you found that helpful. Please let me know in the comments, and you can check out more tutorials on my playlist. Thank you so much for watching.